Yeah, that looks a lot better. A lot easier to traipse through there without having to go through knee-high bushes. And I'm comfortable with my decision to go ahead and finish building this section and get it up. Like I said, it's pretty straight. It's bowing out a little at the top. I'm going to shove it up there, move that wood. This is the pile I've been worrying about. There is some rotten wood in here, and I'm going to go through it and I'm going to figure out what's rotten, and it's going to get tossed aside and used for scrap projects. That stack should be pretty good. I kept it covered most of the time. I know I should have kept it covered all the time, but I can't keep whining over spilt milk. I got to move forward. So if I have to buy more boards, I'll shop around like I did on those pieces to join the two sections together, and I'll get more. But right now, before I begin work on this, I'm gonna go through this wood and I'm gonna move all that stuff, the plywood down there. I've got a bunch of plywood out in the field, and I just need enough of that to cover the first bay down at the other end for my office, and the rest I'll put out back with my building materials that are for greenhouses and horse sheds and stuff like that. But before I do that, see these rat runs? I'm glad we installed those. They kept the bases straight. That's the two boards on the bottom, which once you raise the section, they are up here. And you can see that I've got them right there, but I need them in the section that I just joined. And it appears that I'm missing two of the rat run brackets. That's, oh, I'm filming into the sun. That's always a good idea. I think that's one. Yeah, rat run brackets. I'm missing two of them. So rather than stop all progress and go get some, I'm gonna rob a couple off of that right there and go ahead and get these put in, because it'll just help all this shift back into shape. And then I'll get a couple more for that next time I go into town. We'll start this day off the way we start every day out here at the job site. You gotta feed the equipment breakfast. The bucket truck requires breakfast every day. Every day. 30 bucks. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, you don't want to spill any of that. Thanks, Joe. It's a good truck, though. Hello. Well, that'll make it run for today. rat runs are in. Well, except the last two, which I'll put in after I raise that last section, but it's starting to be a building. Now we'll go over here to this section, start building it out, putting the purlin blocks up and down in between the trusses, straighten the trusses out, put the purlins in, put the gable end on, the fascia board on the end, the bird blocking, and the rafter tails, and then we'll raise her up. Okay, so with those two sections done and connected, I'm ready to start on this section, and as you can see, I've got my work cut out for me because I got to straighten that mess out. Fortunately, I put a few more purlin blocks in this one, so it's not quite as bad, maybe. But what I have to do first is, this is the gable end truss right here. These get 14-foot purlins because you got your overhang, and up there on the top I've got to shove it against the post and screw it to the post. Then I'll have a perfectly straight truss right here. All of these posts are actually in pretty good shape. That one's twisted in the middle, but I've already been shown how to deal with that. Good news is they're all straight up and down. So I'm gonna get my tractor right there, little Yunkin, bring it around. I cleaned up all the debris that was laying on the ground there and kind of organized things better. And I'm gonna shove that truss peak up against that post right there in the middle, and I'm going to screw the truss to the post and start building off of that. As I put in my purlin blocks and purlins, I'll go down the way there and tug and push whatever I have to do to get these other two trusses in shape. And I'll set the camera up and you guys can watch. Well, I guess somebody forgot to attach that other purlin over there, but that's okay, we'll take care of that. This is already straightened up. The peaks are back where they need to be. Now I just have to work on this bowed part right here. See how this one looks? Same thing, if you look at the peak, the top of the truss, it's right where it needs to be, but wow, is that ever out of shape. Well, let's fix it. Holy cow, folks, it's a 97 degrees out, not 100. Sounds a lot more impressive when you can say 100, but I have to take a break every now and then and get out of that sun. Where I'm working over here, it's direct sunlight. There's no cover out here in the pasture. Anyways, I'm not going to be able to film absolutely everything that I do here, but I will touch bases with you and show you what I've done. So I made a discovery, and trust me, I'm learning about how to do this every day, because I can't, you know, I gotta go. I gotta get this built. But I think I'm praying a lot about it. I am. I was talking about my health being much better. It really is. And I said that I attribute that to God and praying every day, but also praying that God would allow me to be able to, you know, motate. Because I could have easily been stuck to the couch and down for the count, folks, but I knew instinctively that I had to motate. And so, you know, you probably just, my last videos, I don't know when I'll show you this. Maybe I'll show you this before I show you all the videos from when I was recovering. But I was really motivated to not just sit around and to do as much as I could. But I was also careful not to injure myself. And I'm being careful. I am being very careful out here. I'm a safetyologist. I put the strap on every time I go in the bucket. When I go up on the roof, I'll be strapped in. Anyway, I think just working, you know, and I even kind of defied my doctors a little in the beginning, and they said, don't do nothing, lay down. And I said, I can't lay down because I won't get up. So they said, well, just be careful. And there were a lot of days when a day of work for me was an hour. It was an hour of coming out, doing what I could, and then being in screaming pain. But it's so much better now. I'm just telling you, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm having an awesome year. This building's gonna get done, folks. It is. It really is. But anyways, while you were gone, I went over there and got the chopping table. That's the one Lou had me build, where we set up the chop saw and stuff. I may have a lot of cutting, but I won't just be throwing a board over a, you know, brush hog or something to cut it. I want to cut it on the cutting table. And besides that, I just drive Yunkin right up under there, lift his bucket up, and he hauls it, you know, and then you set the sawhorses down, lower it down on there, you know the thing. Anyways, while I was over there, I also, there's a weedy area right there that's got a bunch of odds and ends in it. Well, that was gravel before, when we stopped working on the building, and I had all my a bunch of pre-cut stuff neatly stacked there, and I was glad to see a couple of things, because and what made me go over there was those trusses that I'm getting ready to put together down on the end there have no web bracing, and these names are coming back to me, but that right there, if you look in between these two trusses, that's two trusses sandwiched together by the purlin blocks, but if you look right there, you put a piece of wood there. See that guy? And it goes at an angle, and then there's one bink right there, and that's web bracing. And Lou showed me how to put those on and everything. Well, those first two trusses don't have that. And then I remembered on the gable trusses, that's the end. And I'm not trying to wow you with my technology. I'm just trying to call things what I know they're called, because I didn't know that until Lou came out here and showed me stuff. But on the gable end trusses, there's little ones that, just because it's not a sandwiched truss, you know, so you just got those. But I was able to find all of those, and I remembered where I had put them, but it was in that pile of weeds over yonder. And they were in really good shape. None of that stuff was rotted or anything. It was in real nice shape. So the first thing I will do is grab myself a level, and as you saw, I already put the jack on there and spread them apart. I'm going to keep spreading that first truss until it's straight up and down. Once it's straight up and down, I will nail in those web braces, and that will help that first truss tremendously. And then I'll start putting the purlin blocks in on that, and we'll move over and do the same thing on the next section. Really want to get this last section off of the ground. You saw what I had to clean up just to get where I could walk in there again. And once it's off the ground, my whole roof's up, and I just start slapping sheets on it. And folks, I really want to be under here this winter, even if it's just the roof, you know. I can pick my cloudy days to put the sides and stuff on, and just to have a roof and not have my materials out in the weather getting rent. And also I've made a decision. You're gonna see some of my wood is a little sketchy. The trusses are fine. Well, they're not fine. I'd rather have them look like brand new, but there's no rot or anything on the trusses. And what I've decided is where I have a sketchy piece of wood, like it's bowed, or maybe it has looks a little soft or something, well, just go back later and, you know, screw new board to that board all the way down, or sometimes I'll pull it out. But I got to get it up. I got to get this covered. I got to get the materials that I do have out of the weather, and kind of excited. Let's get back to work. Oh, also my buddy Tom might be coming out today. A lot of people remember my buddy Tom. He helped us get a wheelchair for Lou, and he's brought stuff over here. You've probably seen the video by now where he and his wife came out and pressure washed the mom box that, I don't know. Anyway, he's supposed to be coming out today. He looks around and finds free stuff that I can use, and he found a whole bunch of light fixtures, and he said, "Hey Rick, can you use some of these?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, Tom, snatch them up." But he might be bringing those over, and if he does, I'll probably put him up, because if it keeps being hot like this, I might have to start working at night, which would be okay. Homie's not drinking. All right, folks. So my good buddy Tom brought me out a whole bunch of lights today, and he said, "Rick, I feel like I'm trying to help you." He says, "But today I feel like I'm slowing you down." I said, "Tom, I am grateful for the lights, and might not seem like it right now, but when I get to the point where I'm hanging those puppies, trust me, I will appreciate them." So Tom said that he said, "Rick, I just want to sink one screw into the building so I can say I did something." And I said, "Well, Tom, you can do better than that, because as I told you, I'm getting ready to put my web bracing on." Well, on these gable trusses, it takes a 6-footer goes right here, and I was kind of wondering how I was going to hold that board like this and hold the nail gun over here and nail it right. Now Tom's going to do the nailing.
That'll be fun.
Oh yeah.
That'll be a first.
Sure it will. Ever used one of these, Tom?
I've never even touched one of those.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do one. You take this thing, and wherever you want your nail, you stick it, and then you push the gun in. You don't want to put your face, I'm going to point this away from you. That gets a puff of air, and if you get it right in the eye, it's real fun, like going to the eye doctor. Did it put a nail in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. There you go. So you'll need to get positioned where you can nail right here. Okay? Hold on now, because my hands have to be in just the right spot. Park one right there, Tom, right in the middle of that board. Well, you got to release the trigger. Now push that thing in before you pull the, there you go. You're pulling it right now. Okay, take your finger off the trigger. Push it all the way in, now pull the trigger. Push it all the way in, now pull the trigger. There you go. You all right?
Some kick.
Okay, in the center of the board, okay?
Well, I don't like where you're sitting. And that's my MS on my hand.
That's all right, buddy. You just don't pull the trigger till you get her down there.
The problem is my hand is collapsing on itself.
All right. That's good enough. That will help me tremendously. Hey, you only wanted one screw and you got 2 nails.
Yeah, let's see. Now you can get to the rest.
Yeah, well, it's in position for me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You can use your hand like the rest of it.
That's how we're supposed to do it. But this was funner.
Yeah.
Now you can tell Terry, hey, I used a nail gun.
Yeah.
And you did a good job.
Yep, I didn't put it through you.
Yeah, yeah, I don't have to get life flighted. Yeah, I will stick the clamp on there before I put the other ones in. Oh, they're on the bucket truck. The clamps are on the bucket truck. Hope I can reach that high. Nope. And the keys aren't in it.
You got some homemade
Yeah, I use those for I don't know if you remember, Tom, but over there Marge the land barge was marooned and the stack of wood had slipped off, and you don't remember? It was a mess. I moved it, and I went through all the wood, found the good stuff, and disposed of the bad stuff. I had to do an inventory. I had to take a reckoning. You got the job done.
That is a really light trigger.
Oh yeah. That is.
It's a hair trigger. So how many of those you got to put up?
The braces?
Yeah.
Just 2 on each truss. Woo! Blew the camera right off my head.
Gotta give the kid. Wait till you hit the next break, and then I'll let you let me out, I guess.
Okay, just a second. Let me get these nailed off. These really do give it a lot more rigidity too. All right, buddy. Thank you for the lights. Thank you for the nails. Can I get a piece out, Tom? Is it hot, Tom?
It's hot.
All right, well, if you want to go, this is your chance. Otherwise, I'm going back to work.
I was gonna say I'll get out of your hair, but
Ha ha ha. You funny. You funny. You make me laugh. I go ha ha.